Claire Pye. I'm the chairman of the Trust, and we run this bit of Tabley, the collection, on behalf of the university. Now, some of you I know very well indeed, because you are part of our sterling volunteer team that work here at Tabley. So it's lovely to see you back as not working, but as guests of Knutsford hosts. And can I say welcome to everybody else. It's lovely to see you all here and to celebrate the success that is Knutsford hosts. And so, without any more ado, I'm going to hand over to our Lord Lieutenant, David Breaks, because I think he has some things to say from the Queen.
Your Worship, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. The first thing I wrote when I thought about what I was going to say about Knutsford hosts was, oh wow. Because this truly is a wonderful organisation and I get to see quite a lot. And because of the amazing work which you have all done, as you have rightly said, the Queen has asked me to come here this evening on her behalf to say to each of you, thank you. Her Majesty has been so impressed with what you have all achieved that she has awarded to all those who volunteered for Knutsford hosts the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service. And this is the highest award that any voluntary organisation can win in the United Kingdom. It's equivalent to a group MBE. And here, of course, what is so special and what doesn't happen very often when I present these awards is that nobody is paid. So this is an award for all of you. And if you're still in any doubt about what a big deal this is, you might like to know, you will be amazed to know, that there are more than 4,000 charities in Cheshire. And only 5 of them have received a Queen's Award this year. And if we add all the other organisations which, like you, are not registered charities, I'm quite sure there are more than 5,000 community organisations in the county. So to win this award, 5 out of 5,000, you are literally 1 in 1,000. Now, I always like on these occasions to discover how such a great organisation was born. How did it begin? And Knutsford Hosts was, of course, and still is, Sarah's brainchild. Her inspiration came from the wonderful volunteers at the London Olympics. And I think often some of us ask, what was the dividend of the Olympics? Well, you are one of them. Because those wonderful Olympics, I'm sure many of you went to see something in the Olympics, you'll remember the truly amazing Olympic volunteers. And Sarah met some of them and wondered if we could get a team together to represent Knutsford in the same way as those Olympic volunteers represented London. And that's exactly what you all do. And by doing this, it really is a win-win situation. I know that at least most of the time, you enjoy what you do. But you also do so much to improve the quality of life for others in the town. And of course, so many people think Knutsford is a wealthy town, and we all know that there are many people in this town who struggle, and you make a real difference to many of their lives. So, from a standing start in 2014, over just 5 years, Sarah has gently persuaded, cajoled 131 good, honest local people to volunteer. The result is that you have been able to help at more than 70 events, and you've supported numerous local groups and local charities. The statistics are pretty amazing, because Sarah tells me that there have been more than 12,000 hours of volunteering. And if you do the maths, 12,000 hours over 5 years is 2,400 hours a year, 200 hours a month, 46 hours a week, or I think more astonishingly, sort of get a feel of what this is all about. 6.6 hours every single day for 5 years. That is amazing. And the joy of this is that you can each, subject of course to being strong-armed by Sarah, you can each volunteer for what you want, when you want. There is no tie, there is no minimum time commitment, which there might be if you volunteered in the normal way for a normal charity. And you have now become a truly amazing team of volunteers for Knutsford. Being, as far as I can see it, every key event in the town. You are that vital, friendly, welcoming, and knowledgeable person without whom no event can run smoothly. As I've already said, it is a win-win situation, as anyone, no matter how much or how little time they have, can donate some time to support the events and organisations which are the backbone of community life. And at the same time, each of you wonderful volunteers is, of course, also yourself a winner by being connected with the community. And I know that many friendships have started by meeting through Knutsford hosts, although I think we're still waiting for the first Knutsford host wedding. To describe what you do, I can do no better than quote from one of you. So one of you is going to recognise the next couple of paragraphs because you wrote it. So one of you volunteers said this: "It is a pleasure to work with local voluntary bodies such as Friends of the Heath, Royal Mayday, Knutsford Lions, Tabley House, and with some much bigger players such as the RHS Tatton Flower Show and Age UK. As a host, one can pick which event you are interested in or available for, so this fits in with your lifestyle, and Sarah organises you on a rota. At each event you will meet new hosts, make new connections, and for many people who live alone or have time on their hands, this is an invaluable source of friendship and fun. It's definitely helped me to make new friends. It also keeps you up to speed on what's happening in your community. It is very easy to become cut off as you get older. Children leave home, etc. I should add that you do not have to be retired to enjoy working as a volunteer. Many hosts are in their 20s, 30s and 40s. In summary, we make a fantastic contribution to the community, and we, as a group, get something in return, a win-win situation." Now, I just stop there in the middle of this quote because I mentioned that you are not all retired, many of you are younger. But it is, I think, really appropriate and great that this evening we can celebrate and congratulate the lady who I'm told is the oldest host. I hope Beryl will not mind me telling everybody that today is her 86th birthday. So a happy birthday. And this quote goes on to say, "From Knutsford's point of view, the hosts are always willing to step up and provide an enthusiastic and reliable service for any types of events due to their wide range of experience and skills. The hosts also offer much more local knowledge and can always be relied upon to present a welcoming and friendly face to visitors to our lovely town." And that's very special. I mean, to have volunteers who really know the town backwards is tremendous. And whoever wrote that quote, I'd just like to know who they are, because I want to recruit you to come and write some of my many Lord Lieutenants. But as Lord Lieutenant, I have the privilege to meet many volunteers, and I've come to realise that without volunteers, this country would be a totally different place than the one that it is. But I've also seen that there are some in our community who might say something like, "She's only a volunteer." Some people seem to feel that it's only those who are paid who are the professionals, and that the volunteer is in some way inferior to a professional. Well, my experience is that those who volunteer to do something usually do it far better than those who only do something because they're paid to do it. But I've got some advice for any of you who ever have that experience. If ever anyone suggests that you're only a volunteer, just remind them that Noah's Ark was built by volunteers and the Titanic was built by professionals. So, what is very special about this organisation is that each of you as volunteers are not tied to any one organisation. And I've never come across a group like that. And I hadn't fully realised how valuable this was until I read the letter which Adam, the great town clerk of Knutsford, wrote, because Knutsford Town Council was one of the letters of support which was sent in so that Knutsford Hosts won this award. And what Adam said was this. It really made me think, because he said, traditionally, an organisation must rely on its own volunteer base, a loyal band of volunteers it can call upon when needed. A volunteer base that must be filled as volunteers leave and carefully managed as one would with any personnel, something which takes time, another precious commodity for organisations. It is when considering this that one can identify the true greatness of Knutsford Hosts and the reason I recommend them for this award. The Knutsford Hosts has taken a fresh, open-eyed look at volunteer management and developed a scheme which meets the needs of volunteers and community organisations perfectly. Through developing a bank of volunteers that can be called upon by any organisation, organisations no longer need to fret about accessing a pool of volunteers. Organisations no longer need to hunt out a new volunteer each time one leaves. And organisations can rest assured that the needs and support for the volunteers is managed well by Knutsford Hosts. The magic of Knutsford Hosts, he went on to say, is that it has developed a pool of volunteers, many of whom would not be willing to commit to volunteering for an organisation on a regular basis, or who would not think of volunteering with some of the organisations such as the Town Council. And of course, the Knutsford Hosts support them. So they are truly an asset of Knutsford's community. Wow, from a local authority, that is praise indeed. But I cannot go past that amazing accolade without pausing for a moment. Because I know only too well from my charity experience that some organisations have a brilliant and often large pool of volunteers, and some struggle to find any at all. And I've realised that the difference between those two groups is not necessarily the cause for which the charity exists. It is, in my experience, always because of whether or not the volunteer has a good experience at the charity, is properly managed and feels they're doing something useful. And the success of that for most charities, I have advised so many charities that they have to employ and pay for a volunteer coordinator. That makes all the difference. If you organise your volunteers, you'll keep them. Without this key person, volunteers, frankly, don't have a good experience, and therefore they often leave. And here, of course, the amazing Sarah is that volunteer coordinator. She is the magic. That's probably as far as I need to go. I've also described her here as oil, or perhaps WD-40, which keeps everything running smoothly and ensures that each of you volunteers has a positive and enjoyable and worthwhile experience. And Sarah, the town, and each of the volunteers, and of course the organisations which you all help, owe you, Sarah, an enormous debt of gratitude. Quite why Sarah is not yet Dame Sarah. But some of you
ought to see that.
might like to think about nominating her for an individual national honour. Now, as you know, if you do that, you're not allowed to tell the person that you're doing it. So please don't tell her that I've suggested it to the rest of you. There are so many organisations which you have helped that it is impossible this evening to name them all. But they include, of course, your year-round conservation and stewarding work here at Tabley House, your gardening support for those who can't look after their own gardens through Knutsford Grow, the Knutsford Rotary fundraiser, the Knutsford Jog, of course you all help at the Royal May Day, your help at Knutsford Lions at their annual fair on the Heath, and of course with their Christmas appeal, your annual assembly line, I think that's what we can call it, to pack 1,500 goodie bags for the 10k Tatton Yule Lomp, which raises more than 25 grand every year. Your citizen befriending scheme at Sharston House, which makes so much difference to so many elderly people in our community. And I know that you are involved in something that's dear to my heart, helping the children at Manor Park who are struggling to learn to read. You provide the volunteers for their reading scheme, which is of course life-changing for those young people. The difference between leaving school literate or illiterate is life-changing, and you make that difference. You also help at the Welcome, you help at the Children's Farm and the Children's Adventure Farm Trust, as well of course at the Knutsford Beer Festival and the Music Festival. Just this month you're helping at the Children's Adventure Farm, and let's not forget as a result providing help to so many disabled children and their parents and carers. Next month it's on to the Pumpkin Path, and later in the year you'll be helping the Lions wrapping Christmas presents for needy children, as well as marshalling Santa's parade. And then, and yes, there is more. You now have aspirations, or Sarah has aspirations, that means you're all going to have to go with it, to take this model elsewhere, as I understand you've already done in Altrincham. And I hope to be able, in some of the towns in Cheshire, to be able to help you to take this idea to other towns, particularly I think towns like Knutsford, where so many outsiders, and in truth some insiders, think it is a wealthy place, and where there are, as we all know, many families who really struggle. We just need to find some clones of Sarah. And they, of course, are not easy to find, but do let's try. Do any of you know someone in perhaps Macclesfield or Congleton or Wilmslow who could be their Sarah? And I'm keen for you to work more closely with one of the initiatives which I've set up called Cheshire Connect, which gets business and professional people not to give money but to volunteer their time and their skill to help charities to become more efficient, or dare I say more business-like. I wish we did what the Americans do and call a charity a not-for-profit business, because of course that's what they really are. And I know you already have some corporate hosts, and it's right that I should thank McAlpine and Bruntwood for their contribution. And thanks are also due to those who do give you the very small amount of money which is needed to keep you alive, despite you all giving your time for free to pay for things like your annual insurance and your Knutsford host pin. I'm very proud to be wearing an extra medal this evening. So my thanks to Knutsford Town Council, to Knutsford Lions and to Knutsford Rotary for your support in giving that vital amount of cash that's needed, without which this would not continue. And to all of you, Knutsford hosts, you truly are model, socially responsible citizens. And on behalf of Her Majesty the Queen, I bring her sincere thanks for all that you do to make Knutsford a better place to live for us all. You are very worthy winners of the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service. Very many congratulations. I will now just read, before I present this to I thought I'd just read this certificate, signed, as you can see, by the Queen. Some of you, you'll hear me saying in a moment, under the Queen's sign manual. Most of us sign our letters at the bottom, but Her Majesty always signs all documents at the top, hence under the sign manual. So, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of our other realms and territories, Queen, Defender of the Faith, to Knutsford hosts, pioneering community volunteer scheme, supporting Knutsford's events, organisations, residents and visitors, greeting. We, being cognizant of the said group's outstanding voluntary work in the community and being desirous of showing our royal favour, do hereby confer upon it the Queen's Golden Jubilee Award for voluntary service by groups in the community 2019. For such period as the group continues to provide its current service, and do hereby give permission for the authorised emblem of the said award to be displayed on the group's letterhead and other public material. Given at our Court of St James under our Royal Sign Manual, this 2nd day of June 2019, in the 68th year of our reign. Signed, as you can see, by the Queen. This is a lot easier than the Queen's Award for Enterprise that they give. I have to check which Prime Minister has signed. So many congratulations, Sarah, and receive your award. Congratulations, very well deserved.
I do want to say a few words, not many to follow that amazing speech. Thank you so much, David. David is an honorary host and has been involved for a long time.
You can have your notes back.
That's okay, I think I don't need them. But just a few things that I would like to add. One is to thank Tabley House for hosting this evening. Tabley House is open until the 27th of October, so you definitely need to come back if you haven't already been here to see this treasure trove of things and a brilliant tea room. David kindly mentioned about the donations that we've had, particularly for our Queen's Award badges. We're so grateful that we've been able to raise enough money to give all the hosts a Queen's Award badge, which is wonderful, and we'll be giving those out after we had a glass of Prosecco. And I hope you all appreciated Sharston House's little tea cakes with their little logo. Waitrose also donated cakes, and I know that it was all funded by Tabley House, so thanks again for that. To the host, what can I say? My goodness, I'm normally speechless. Well, I am speechless now. But I think one thing I would say is in a cynical world, you redefine what it is to be socially responsible. And community is really so important. You know, we have to do this for ourselves. And I think that you've poured so much time and effort into volunteering. And as David has cottoned on, not all of it's been quite voluntary in that sense. But I really appreciate you've turned up in droves for everything. I think also it's important to thank the many organisations and events that we support and help, because we've formed some really terrific friendships and partnerships along the way. And I think it's lovely to see so many here to share in this celebration. By the way, we are Waitrose Green Coins Collection, so shovel a handful every time you're in that shop, please, because that will give us a bit more money and then we don't have to ask for donations. And you will laugh at this, but I think you'd all agree that it would not be a host event if I didn't produce a couple of clipboards. So if anyone is wondering what's happening between now and Christmas and has a couple of hours to spare, they will be there. It's our time-honoured tradition. You all know the score. But it's amazing to see this incredible turnout. Thank you so, so much. I hope you enjoy wandering around because it's an incredible collection. And at 8 o'clock we're going back into the entrance hall for a glass of Prosecco and a few farewells and the handing out of the Queen's Award badges. So thank you again to all of you, to all the organisations, to Tabley House and to David Brooks, who is incredible. to mention, I discreetly put on, if anyone fancies buying their own, let me know. Anyhow, that's it for the formalities, so thank you very much. Move around.
Enjoy the house.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, Julie.